Greetings to everyone. Today I would like to answer frequently asked questions regarding account registration in Telegram, because there are often many questions from both beginners and experienced users. The most relevant and popular question that I want to answer is about the information provided for studying. Registration itself, registering accounts, is one of the most challenging directions. To register quality accounts in Telegram, a certain amount of time needs to be dedicated to gaining experience, practicing, testing, understanding, and figuring things out. Just like in any field, there are many intricacies and nuances. The basic information has been provided to you, and the choice is now up to you. Because for anyone who wants to learn how to register accounts in Telegram and do it well, there are three options. The first option is to register, study the available information, and learn to register accounts on your own. Continue learning and testing. The second option is to find someone who can teach you. Of course, this is not free. Or if you understand that registration is difficult for you and none of the first two options suit you. For example, you cannot study on your own because it is too difficult for you and you do not want to pay someone to teach you. Moreover, the second option is not very relevant, as I already mentioned. We have more than enough free information that shows everything perfectly. You just need to study it, find additional public sources of information if something is unclear, and then proceed directly to testing. If neither of the first two options suits you, then at least for a start, you can simply buy accounts, as it is often mentioned. Verified account sellers are only available on the BLB Team forum, because there are already sellers with many years of experience. They have been selling for more than a year and have reviews. We have special criteria for selecting sellers, so the percentage of scams can be said to be 0, because there are none at all. Therefore, all our sellers are verified. And during the initial period, for example, you can work with these accounts to understand how Telegram works. Understand what, with what, how, why. Gain experience and then move on, for example, to registration. And if you immediately buy software and enter with the intention of learning how to register accounts, then the two options that exist I have already mentioned to you. Because as an administration, as moderators, we do not engage in teaching you the parameters. We can give you some general concepts somewhere, but the main bulk of information is available to us completely free of charge. On the same forum and in the form of videos, links to which any moderator can send you if you ask them. If, for example, you cannot find something, you can ask any moderator to send you links to relevant videos. In general, videos on registration, and study them independently, meaning continue studying after learning the basic information that is given to you. Because first and foremost, you are buying a tool, not education for working with Telegram, so either you study on your own or look for secondary sources that can teach you. Remember this moment. But, I repeat, we have more than enough information for free. You just need to use your head. Continue developing this information, testing, and learning new things. In addition to the basic information, there are occasional nuances that you will learn during the testing process. Therefore, I think these points are perfectly clear and understandable. If there is any new information that we will provide to you, you will definitely find out about it in our messenger sphere. We will post it either in the chat or in the news. In the chat, we periodically write about this, about all the new videos. For example, about new articles. Also, if you have any questions that you don't understand, in our chat and sphere, there is a huge amount of information with questions that already have answers. There is a search function, so you can find the information you need. In other words, if, for example, you have a question related to the country of Indonesia, you type in Indonesia in the search and read what was answered to similar questions. Most likely there is already an answer to your question there because 90 to 95% of the questions already have answers. Someone asked them before you. And new questions are also asked periodically, so in this regard, you study, test, try, search for options, use the information you receive, and learn because first and foremost, this is what you need to learn how to register. Or, as I said earlier, the easiest option, if it is difficult for you, work for some time, 2, 3, 4 weeks with purchased accounts. Study, understand, delve deeper into the topic, and then all the information will be easier for you to grasp. And a frequently asked question, let's move on to any module regarding registration about simulating a mobile phone. If this option is enabled, you check 2 boxes, enable 2 tokens, and your account will be of higher quality thanks to these tokens. I explained more about tokens than the previous registration video, which you can find on this channel. A frequent question about the expenses of these tokens. What are they deducted for? So, the push token is only used for successfully registered accounts. And the safety token is also used for accounts for which the code did not arrive. Meaning the code was requested in the software. There was an expectation, but the code did not arrive, as well as for 2 FA numbers. Please clarify with SMS services in advance. The software has automatic refunds from 3 SMS services. On other services, clarify this moment in advance, as some services do not have this refund at all. That means the numbers on which there will be 2 FA will be your production costs. So never start or launch registration too quickly. First, I advise everyone to start, for example, registering 10 accounts in 1 thread and then check the log. See what the software writes, what actions to take, to understand the whole essence. If you have any misunderstandings, you can always open the database when you start a task. Here, the database appears in the results with statistics for each taken number by the software. If, for example, you start registration at that moment when the service itself is taking numbers, but there is no information about them in the software log. It says waiting for SMS, then the problem is in your database. That means the software takes numbers but cannot proceed to the registration of accounts. In this case, stop the task, cancel the numbers, though study the video. Watch the video, generate a new database, and test these moments so that your database is correct. Also, regarding the relatively new option to proxy requests to the SMS service. Here you enter a proxy through which requests to the SMS service will be sent. That means it is not the proxy used for registering accounts. This is done so that if a certain SMS service, for example, is blocked in your country and not available to you, you do not need to additionally use a VPN. For example, on your computer, you can simply send all your requests to the SMS service through your proxy via this option in the software. Here is the information on how to end it correctly. Only if you need to proxy requests to the SMS service. You first enable this option, enter the proxy here, and then enter your API key from the SMS service. Click Get Data and fully configure the module. Do not forget about all the buttons like Get Data and so on. Also, if on some SMS services your balance is not displayed in the balance section, but you receive data about operators in country, this is the most important thing. Some SMS services do not correctly provide information about your balance. So if you encounter this situation, first check this moment. Select the country you need, operators, configure all of the settings, and start, for example, registering 5 accounts and 1 thread to see how everything works. Also, I would like to mention the option of forced reset of 2FA. That means if you register on an SMS service that automatically refunds for 2FA numbers, I would not recommend enabling this option. But if you register from an SMS service that does not refund for 2FA numbers, it is better to enable this option because in that case, part of your costs in the form of 2FA numbers may become full-fledged accounts thanks to this option. These are the main points and frequently asked questions. Therefore, the most important thing, as I already mentioned at the beginning of the video, is that you receive free information, test it, study it, and if you have any additional questions, you can use our chat in the field and read the chat. I periodically recommend everyone to still keep an eye on the chat, at least read what is written there once a day. It has never harmed anyone, but it brings a lot of benefits for certain moments. Questions that may not interest you now, but you will already know the answers. So it takes very little time to read the chat, 5 to 10 minutes a day to read everything that was written in a day. It will be difficult, but it will bring a lot of benefits. Now, regarding the Universal Registrar. This is an additional module, a paid additional module. With it, you can connect third-party SMS services based on the SMS Activate API. That's the key point, that the SMS service API you want to connect must be 100% based on the SMS Activate API. That is, on this SMS service. So if you want to register accounts with an SMS service that is not in the software, and you have clarified in advance and know that it works based on the SMS Activate API, then the Universal Registrar will suit your tasks. Next, regarding the parameter generator, if you generate the database once, you don't need to enable the option to add to the database. So make sure to check this, because if you enable this option, you specify the path to the database and you don't meet it. That is, this option is purely for adding additional parameters to an existing database that has already been generated. And since you are generating a new database for the first time, you don't need this option. As for other settings and all other aspects, They are discussed in the previous video on registration on this channel. In this video, I explained the main points, the key points. I answered frequently asked questions. So if you are a beginner in the registration field, study the current information and, as they say, use your head. Start developing, studying, trying, and testing. And as has been said repeatedly, the moderators are not obliged to teach you registration. Everything that is provided to you as information is provided for your own and general development, not out of kindness to help you develop, to watch videos, to study information, because remember that working with Telegram is one thing, and working with software is another. The moderators and administration will always help, advise, and explain any questions regarding the software. But, for example, regarding registration and parameters, that is already your personal matter. And as I mentioned earlier, I will repeat again, we have more than enough videos and information. It's practically 90% of what you need to start registering. You just need to learn how to use the software, what to click and how, by watching previous videos, and then move on to testing. If something is unclear, by testing, trying, making mistakes, gaining experience and practice, you learn, and we, in turn, will do our best to provide you with more content on the software, primarily in terms of functionality, options, and modules. And secondly, again, as far as possible, we will create videos for you, including on working with Telegram. We may share certain moments, direct you in certain directions, and so on. So, thank you all for watching. Everyone, goodbye.